Hello everybody, my name is Karryshh and welcome back to another recap video. Today, it's our latest Thai horror movie called Exit. Now this one is plot driven, meaning we are going to see a story with bunch of characters running to save their lives. It does not fall into their emotional sides which disconnects the audience from the emotional journey. Anyway, watch this video till end. On top of that, if you're new to my channel, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It is free for you and it is something that helps me out a lot. Now sit back and relax as I recap Exit. So the story kicks off straight in a school where we're about to meet a bunch of students. You'll get their names as they come up. First, we meet Josh and his best friend Luke. They're walking down the hallway and accidentally bumps into a girl named Jenny and her friend Joe. After that little run-in, the guys keep moving and end up colliding with a girl named Mia who's kinda loner and doesn't like hanging out with anyone. Then, in the cafeteria, we meet a popular guy named Ben. He was the crush of this girl named Grace, but Ben doesn't like her that much. There's also another guy named First, and he likes Grace, but Grace doesn't like him back. Grace also has a sister at school named Elle, who's mute. Then after lunch, Josh heads to the bathroom and finds a guy named X, who's basically a school bully, and he was beating up some student. X has two sidekicks, Toad and Todd, and when they notice Josh inside the bathroom, they start messing with him too, but then Luke shows up and scares them off for now. Then inside the bathroom, Josh and Luke run into a super smart hacker kid named Zhao, but since they accidentally spook him, Zhao ends up kicking Josh in the face. Anyway, after lunch, class starts. We find out it's Luke's first day at this school, and in class, he notices a girl named Lynn, who's the class monitor, and yeah, he falls for her right away. Later, when the school ends, all the students find out about a carnival happening that night. Luke finds out Lynn's going to the carnival too, so he plans to go there with Josh, and eventually, all the students we've met so far end up at the carnival, doing their own thing, playing games, hanging out. For a while, no one really notices each other. Meanwhile, Elle in the carnival was looking for her sister Grace. When she finally finds her, Grace doesn't really talk nicely with her. Basically, Grace doesn't like being too close to her mute sister, especially since she is super popular at school. After some time, all the students come across a big circus tent. Thinking there's some kind of event inside, they all walk in together, but the tent is empty, except for one booth in the center. Inside that booth, there are just two dolls. Then, Lynn steps up and pulls a lever, and as soon as she does, the doll starts spinning. A creepy little tune starts playing in the background and then a card pops out. Lynn picks up the card and suddenly the lights go out. All the students freak out for a second, but when the lights come back on, there's a mime standing right in front of him. And not just any mime, this one moves in an insanely creepy way and signals everyone to stay completely silent. Then, the mime starts performing. First, he pretends to pull something out of his stomach, then rocking it like he's holding a baby. Turns out it was a guessing game. The students are supposed to figure out what the mime is acting out, and at first, they all start guessing just for fun. But then, the mime starts counting down from 10. Right before the timer hits 0, one guy blurts out an egg for his answer, but it was wrong. The mime gives this freaky smile and then he shot the guy with a fake gun obviously. But the second the mime moved their finger, a real bullet hit the guy and he dies instantly. Obviously, chaos breaks out. Everyone starts screaming and running, trying to get out, but then it turns into a straight up Squid Game type situation. The mime starts shooting at everyone who tries to escape. The few students who realize what's happening stay completely silent and froze in place. But then the mime starts another countdown. This time, no one answers in fear, and so after that, the mime randomly picks a girl and shoots her dead. That's when it became clear, if they want to survive, they have to guess the mime's act correctly. The mime performs again, and this time it was pretty obvious whatever he was performing was related to a baby. When the countdown starts again, Elle gives the answer in sign language, which was childbirth. But since she was mute, Mia says it for her, and it was the right answer. The moment the answer was confirmed, the evil mime shoots himself in the head and drops dead. The students are finally able to breathe. Some of them starts crying, others were just in shock, but eventually they all rush out of the circus tent. However, when they step outside, they're hit with another wave of horror. The entire carnival is now empty and desolate, and one guy tries to escape the carnival, but before he can make it out, something shot him dead. Then an announcement plays saying that no one can leave the carnival unless they're given the permission. No one has any idea who's behind all this and why it's even happening, but that wasn't the only problem. Now, no one had any phone signal either. Then suddenly, inside one of the ticket booths, two dolls start spinning on their own and another card pops out. This one had the number 10 written on it. X sees it and immediately walks off with his goons. He just wanted to get out of that place and away from those normal people. Anyway, after they leave, Luke flips the card over and sees something written on the back. It said, "Hide, don't seek." Obviously, it clicks immediately. This was another game, a messed up version of hide and seek. Right after that, a timer near them starts and an announcement plays. The students find out that for the next 6 hours, they'll need to hide from something evil. If they don't hide, they will die. Then we see X and his two guys. They were arguing because X doesn't fully trust one of them. And then this insanely tall demon appears in front of him with a huge metal ball chained to it. The moment they see it, they were paralyzed with fear. Meanwhile, back near the timer, Ben suggests they split up into groups so it's easier to hide. Just then, X and his guys come running in. And behind him was that terrifying demon clown swinging that massive ball around. Chaos breaks out again and everyone runs in different directions and they were completely scattered. Ben and Grace manage to hide inside a room in a large building and soon Jenny joins them. Mia on the other hand ends up wandering through what looks like some kind of giant complex-like place. There, she finds a gun and some bullets, but then out of nowhere, a song starts playing from inside a shop behind her. The sound was coming from an old camcorder playing a video. Cut to Yao, Elle, Luke and Lynn. The four of them have locked themselves in a room too. Elle was worried sick about her sister Grace and luckily, Yao finds a CCTV system in that room so now they can monitor everything happening in the carnival from there. Back to Ben, Grace and Jenny, where Jenny ends up drinking an entire bottle of water by herself, clearly having zero survival instincts. And somewhere else in the carnival, Joe was just wandering around completely clueless, not knowing where to hide. Then he runs into Josh, who's hiding behind one of those cut-out photo boards. On the other side, X and his guy starts messing with First, teasing him because they knew he liked Grace. But this time, First finally snaps and he curses at X, which obviously pisses him off. Meanwhile, we cut back to Ben, Grace and Jenny. After downing that whole bottle of water earlier, Jenny now needed to pee, but she was too embarrassed to go in the bucket. The only bathroom in the building they were hiding in was all the way at the end of the hallway, so she grabs a rod to protect herself and heads out towards it. Mia, on the other hand, was still watching those old camcorder videos. In one of them, a boy literally ends his life saying he couldn't escape the carnival. And at that point, there were only 3 hours left for him to survive. Back to Jenny, who starts hearing creepy noises. She follows him and ends up in a storage room filled with food. Obviously, she was starving, so she throws herself at the food. And at the same time, Grace tells Ben that she doesn't like her mute sister Elle because ever since their parents died, Elle started treating her like a little kid and Grace hated that. However, Ben explains to her that Elle only acts that way because she cares too much and nothing more. Then over in the CCTV room, Yao finds a live feed showing Jenny in the storage room. But then suddenly, the evil Joker appears right behind her. Jenny freezes in fear and the Joker starts moving closer and closer and she falls back in panic. But right before the Joker can kill her, Mia shows up with the gun. She shoots the Joker over and over again and the Joker falls to the ground, but the moment he hits the ground, he vanishes, just disappears, which clearly means whatever this Joker is, he's not human. After this, Mia and Jenny moves forward and Ben and Grace hear the gunshots and came running, but just as they all regroup, the Joker shows up again, this time swinging a huge axe at the group and attacks him brutally. Then we cut to Joe and Josh still hiding behind the cutout. A Joker appears there too and just stands there staring at him. But strangely, he can't seem to see him at all, which was super strange. Back to X, he had just knocked first out, but during this chaos, Todd had disappeared. Turns out, the Joker had already caught and unalived him. Now the Joker shows up again and goes after X and First. They all try to run and save their lives, but in the end, the Joker unalives Todd too. Back in the storage room, Ben's team was quietly sneaking around when Ben noticed an exit sign. It looked like they might actually have a way out. Meanwhile, Joe and Josh saw the countdown timer and now it only had 20 minutes left. It also said safe zone, but that's when they spotted a Joker costume lying around and they thought they could disguise themselves and maybe make it out alive. Soon after, Zhao and the others spotted a Joker heading straight toward them on the CCTV screen, so they had no choice but to leave the security room and run. Back in the storage room, Ben went alone toward the exit gate because suddenly smoke had filled the entire place. Ben tied a red string around himself and then Jenny, Grace and Mia followed the string so they wouldn't lose their way. The evil Joker was lurking around there too, but Ben and Jenny managed to reach the exit safely. Grace and Mia were still behind, but Grace ended up following the wrong red string and got lost. We cut to X and First riding a bike trying to escape the Joker, but in a selfish move, X pushes First off the bike to save himself and the Joker brutally unalives First. Back in the storage room near the exit, Mia finally makes it, but Grace had been spotted by the evil Joker and was trying to hide. She runs, managing to get super close to the exit, but just before she can make it, the Joker grabs her and unalives her violently. After all this, X is the first one to make it out to the safe zone. Joe and Josh also get there disguised as Jokers, so they survive too. Then Lynn, Elle, Luke and Zhao show up, and right behind them, Mia, Ben and Jenny arrive. Elle quickly notices her sister Grace is missing, but before the timer can run out, everyone sprints into the safe zone. At the very last second, everyone makes it except a Joker throws a metal bowl straight into Ben's back, knocking him out. He was unconscious for a bit, but his breathing was stable, and he eventually regained consciousness. The game finally ends and Elle breaks down crying because her sister was unalived. Ben walks over and gives her a family photo, something Grace had given him earlier. Now that photo is the only thing Elle has left to remember her family. There were only 10 students left, and if you remember, before the game started, the card had the number 10 written on it, meaning the game had already hinted how many people would survive each round. Then a new card pops out from the ticket booth. This time, the number was 8. The card also said that the next game would be played in 2 teams, with Ben and X as team captains. They had to pick their teammates, so X chooses Luke, Zhao, Jenny, and Joe. Ben chooses Elle, Mia, Lynn, and Josh. Now the 10 of them were split into 2 groups. Each group was about to face a different game. X's team was sent through the back door, while Ben's team was told to go through the front. That's when Luke had to separate from Ben and Lynn. Anyway, X's team entered a circus tent and found this massive fancy table filled with food. Their game was that they had to eat 25,000 calories of food in just 30 minutes. Meanwhile, when Ben's team entered their tent, the light suddenly went out. When they come back on, each of the 5 had been teleported to separate platforms with nooses around their necks. Everyone froze, and their game was word guessing. The word was 9 letters long and had the letter F in it. Each person would get a turn, but if anyone gave more than 3 wrong answers, they will be unalived. And they had only 10 seconds to answer. Back with X's team, their time had started too. Everyone sat down to eat. Now if they wanted to hit the calorie goal fast, they had to eat the high calorie stuff, mostly meat. As people started eating meat, their calorie counter started going up. The game was tracking each person's calorie count individually as well. Joe was only eating vegetables since he's vegan, but X snapped at him, yelling that they wouldn't win if he stuck to veggies. Eventually, Joe got the courage to try chicken for the first time, and to his surprise, he loved it. And why not? Next thing you know, he was eating meat like crazy. So much for veganism. Back with Ben's team, it was Josh's turn first. Since it was the first time guessing, he said the letter J, which was wrong. Then come Lynn, who guessed A, and that was correct. The second letter in the word was indeed A. Mia was next and she guessed E, which turned out to be the final letter of the word. Then it was L's turn, but poor L couldn't speak. She was mute. Meanwhile, over to X's team, only 15 minutes were left and they still had a ton of calories to go. At this point, X spits out a piece of chicken and his calorie count drops on the board. Turns out, spitting food is against the game's rule and you have to actually eat it. Back with Ben's team, where since L couldn't speak, she lost one of her lifelines. Mia went again and guessed I, which was a great guess because the word had two I's in it. Lynn also got the next letter right, which was R, and now the word was almost completely figured out. Then Josh went again and surprisingly he guessed S, which was right too. Now if you're following along, it was pretty clear by now that the word was sacrifice, and now it was Ben's turn. Thing is, Ben obviously knows the answer now, but if he gave the right letter, it would be L's turn next, and since she couldn't speak, she will die. So Ben was now stuck. Over on X's team, they were all stuffed, but then Jenny and X started messing around, throwing food at each other. That broke the rules and their time dropped straight from 6 minutes to just 1 minute. Now they all had to force feed themselves as fast as possible to stay alive. Somehow, they managed to hit the calorie target before time ran out, but then the name of the person who ate the least calorie was Jenny, and it turned red on the screen. That meant the person who consumed the fewest calories would die. Back to Ben's team, he purposely stayed quiet, which bought L some time. In this game, if you gave a wrong answer, the turn would loop back to the last person who got it right. So now it was Josh's turn again. Ben's plan was simple. Josh would give the next right answer and then Ben would finish the word and everyone would survive. However, Ben forgot one thing. Josh was kinda stupid. He couldn't figure out the word, even though it was super obvious. Time ran out and just like that, Josh was hanged brutally. The moment he died, the game ended and everyone else survived. And over on X's team, when everyone saw Jenny's name turn red, they all started screaming in fear. But then, out of nowhere, Joe throws up, and because Joe vomited, he ends up dying instead of Jenny. Everyone was in total shock. Jenny breaks down crying over her best friend's death, but there's nothing they can do now. They have to keep moving forward if they want to make it home. Later, everyone meets up near the ticket booth outside and Elle gets angry at Ben. She tells him that if she had died, maybe Josh would still be alive. Meanwhile, Jenny is sitting in front of a mirror crying for Joe, but suddenly her reflection starts smiling creepily. Then, that reflection drags a finger across its own neck, and right then and there, Jenny's real throat gets slashed open. Everyone rushes to help her, but it was too late. She dies, choking on her own blood. Now, at this point of this movie, it becomes pretty clear that there's some evil force behind everything happening in this carnival. Then Luke finds out Josh is dead too, and he was heartbroken. He starts blaming Ben for Josh's death, but here Ben defends himself, saying Josh was too dumb to guess such a simple word. That sparked a fight between Luke and Ben, but right in the middle of it, their teacher, Alex, suddenly shows up. Everyone's stunned to see him, but Alex acts totally normal, like nothing's wrong. He says he just came to enjoy the carnival, but then one of the nearby doors lights up by itself. The teacher was curious and starts walking toward it, but Luke stops him and asks him if the school already knew that this carnival was cursed. However, Alex laughs it off, thinking Luke is just acting up. Now Alex walks through that door and the rest of the students follow him, but what's on the other side isn't normal. It was a massive open field with a ticket booth in the middle. This time, when the ticket comes out, it says 5, meaning after the next game, only 5 people will survive. Even after reading that, Alex continues acting like everything's fine. Then, out of nowhere, this huge creepy house appears. Nobody knows how it got into the carnival, and everyone walks toward it. Outside that house, there were gravestones, one for each person who has died so far in this twisted game. Alex still thinks it's all part of some elaborate prank, but the students were devastated, seeing their friends' grave make it too real. Now after that, everyone heads into the house, which is filled with all these creepy mannequins. The group splits up and starts looking around, but pretty soon Alex screams. All the students rush over to him, and behind Alex there was a mannequin standing way too close. Alex explains that the second he looked away from it, the mannequin moved closer. Then he shows everyone a card he found. The card says they have just 1 hour to find a key and escape this house, but cursed mannequins are going to try and stop him. Right after that, the main door locks shut and they discover an exit door, which was locked. That's the door they need the key for, and now they light up some lamps, but the mannequins are definitely moving and they don't have much time, so the group decides to split up. Elle and Ben pair up, Zhao goes with X, Mia teams up with Alex, and Luke goes with Lin. Time was ticking, and now there's only 23 minutes left. While searching, Zhao ends up near the dining room, where out of nowhere, one of the mannequin gets right up next to him. He freaks out, but X shows up and smashes the mannequin into many pieces. However, inside the mannequin, Zhao finds a camera. Turns out someone's been watching him this whole time. In that room, Zhao keeps exploring and finds some photos of school students being tortured at this carnival, meaning this might not be the first time students are getting killed in this game. Meanwhile, Elle and Ben are still looking for the key, and the mannequins around them started moving too. The thing is, the mannequins only chase you if you take your eyes off him. Then Elle spots a person with chains around their ankles, and just as she notices that, a mannequin creeps up behind her, grabs her and drags her away. Ben starts frantically looking for her and ends up in a room with a TV playing. On screen, there's a little girl placing a key inside a wooden box, but that girl is Elle when she was a child. Obviously, most things happening in this movie doesn't make sense, and neither Ben have any idea how any of this was possible. He breaks down crying, just sitting there, until he notices a wooden box under the table, and inside was the key they were looking for. Ben now immediately stands up with the key, but suddenly an evil mannequin grabs his hand. He struggles to break free, but then he notices something. The mannequin was wearing Elle's bracelet, which means Elle, maybe, just maybe, had somehow turned into a mannequin. Right then, Lin and Luke arrive and try to save him, but the mannequin has a tight grip on Ben's arm. That's when Ben realizes he's not getting out of this, so he hands the key to Luke and tells him to go. In the end, Luke and Lin leave with the key, and everyone finally makes it to the exit door. Luke tries to open it, but of course, in the final moments of the game, it's not gonna be that easy. Suddenly from the stairs, this terrifying demon in chains descends, and it's the same demon that had unalived Elle. Everyone freezes in fear, but somehow, just in time, Luke manages to unlock the door and the demon disappears. However, just as they're about to escape, Zhao stops everyone. He says that every time they've exited, a new game has begun. He's been watching this pattern this whole time, and now he thinks he's figured it all out. Zhao then goes over to a piano and plays a specific tune. Then, he holds down a special key, and behind the bookshelf, a secret door opens. According to Zhao, this is the real exit that leads back home. He doesn't explain how he knows, but the time is up, and everyone decides to take the risk. But the door will only stay open if someone keeps pressing the piano key. If not, the door will shut on its own. So here, Alex sacrifices himself. He stays behind holding down the key, while Zhao and the others escape through the hidden passage. Now on the other side of the door, they enter a white room, and suddenly there's an announcement. It turns out this whole place was not a carnival, it was A Carn-Evil, a evil fair that plays with people's lives. No one knows who created it, but in this white room there was a computer. Zhao rushes to it and manages to hack into the system. Then he finds two keys and they need to be turned at the same time, and that will self-destruct this entire place. But here's the catch, the two people who turn the keys won't be able to return. That's when Zhao realizes this final stage is just another game, and now they'll have to decide who gets to win and who gets to lose. Everyone goes silent, lost in thought, and for the first time X actually comes up with a good idea. According to him, they'll play a game. There will be 5 sticks and whoever picks the shortest ones will lose. Everyone agrees and breaks a pencil to play. In the end, Mia and Zhao loses, which means they're the ones who'll have to turn the key. Only X, Luke, and Lin will make it out alive. Obviously, things get emotional. Mia accepts her fate and says her goodbyes. And so does Zhao. Then both of them stay behind to turn the keys, and Lin, X, and Luke finally escape. However, as soon as they step outside, they realize they're still inside the carnival. Then, Lin turns around and spots a small piece of pencil on the ground. That's when she realizes that Mia had intentionally broken her stick to make it shorter, so she would lose, which means Mia sacrificed herself for everyone else. After that, the three of them have no choice but to run. The moment they step out of the carnival, there was a massive explosion behind him, which means the keys were turned at the same time. The entire carnival is destroyed, and in the end, X, Luke, and Lin survive. But now, they need answers. Who created this place? Was it really cursed or someone was behind it all? And how the hell did Zhao know that playing the piano would open a new door? None of these questions are answered. The movie ends right there. But hey, let me know in the comments what you think. How do you think that Zhao found that white room? So this was the recap video on the movie Exit, and I hope you have liked this video. If you have, then please subscribe the channel and give this video a thumbs up. I really need your support to grow further. If you want to watch this movie, there's a link to my Telegram channel in the description box. If that link does not work, just go to Telegram and put my channel's name in the search bar. How and when you can find it on Telegram will be revealed on the channel, so go join that. I'm mostly active on Insta, so go follow me there as well. And look into my other channel where we discuss about the mysteries of the world. All the links are in the description box. For now, I see you all in the next one. Till then, stay awake, because they always save.